Hi, friends. Welcome to the Outside In podcast. I'm Jess Mack, and we are here to chat about navigating the inside world of a creative mind. This podcast is brought to you by Support Act, who exists to support mental health and wellbeing in the Australian music and creative industries. I'm joined today by a very special guest. Her name is Nikki Lam, and she's an artist, curator, filmmaker, all of the things. Welcome, Nikki. Thank you for joining me today.
Hi, so good to be here.
Oh, it's so good to meet you. Oh, of course. I'm excited to learn more about you. You do so many things. So I'm like, where should we start? How about we just go through like a list of like what you do and your background?
Yeah. So I've done a lot of things in the past, but currently I co-direct an Asian Australian support network called Hyphenated Projects. I also co-run a bookshop with my partner called Slow Burn Books. It's a very small bookshop and art publisher with a focus on Asia. I am also an artist and a curator. Currently, I am focusing on moving image.
Okay, so what can you explain more about that? Moving image?
About my art practice?
Yeah, moving image. Like, how would you sort of elaborate on that?
So I would say that moving image is sort of the reason why I use that instead of film is because I don't necessarily operate within the film industry.
Okay.
And by that, I mean sort of the distribution models are quite different. I mostly make works for the galleries and museums and occasionally for screenings in cinemas.
I have a loaded question for you. What do you stand for?
Oh, okay. That is really loaded. In what?
In any way?
In any way. I mean, I think in a lot of my work, particularly in the last few years, I have been able, I feel really privileged to be able to turn some of the, I suppose, not so positive experiences that I've lived in the art world or experienced in the art world and turn them into opportunities and platforms and support for other artists.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And I think that has given me a lot of joy. I don't know if that's necessarily what I stand for, because I think that is quite a big commitment, but I do feel a very strong pull towards supporting artists who might have had experiences similar to mine when I was younger.
Do you want to talk about those experiences that you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of structural sort of racism that is very prevalent in the art industry. Art degrees cost so much these days for people to get formal training. And yet, artists are not getting paid the wage that we can live by. So we're not getting paid a living wage a lot of the times. We are in an industry that is a lot of the times based on exploitation. And by that, I don't just mean financially, but I actually mean that, as artists, we're expected to tell our stories. We're expected to share every bit of, sometimes every bit of our kind of trauma that's associated with things like migration and violence and, very personal stories. And sometimes, while it's really beautiful to experience other people's stories that way, I don't think that the institutions or the art world actually protects artists from sort of the potential harm that could happen in the public.
How do you think that could change? Like, what do you think needs to be done?
I think that we need to talk about it more. I think that when I was much younger, there really wasn't a lot of support around artists who, let's say, being migrants or second gen diaspora. A lot of the times we were expected to fit into this model minority narrative, and the stories that we tell must fit into, a particular strand of multiculturalism. And while, you know, some of those stories are, of course, really beautiful and, you know, very meaningful for communities, I also think that, you know, if your story is a little bit left of field, then it gets kind of sidelined or kind of marginalized. And I think that now that we have the visibility and representation in parts of the art world, I would really like to see more support around, oh, actually, what does it mean to, you know, make work about your trauma? Or what does it mean to like make work about your intergenerational trauma? And how do we come to a place of healing and then come to a place of support and repair through sort of community work? Because the arts industry is so competitive sometimes, and I think that at times there is like this a language of care, but in reality there's still a lot of gaps that really need to be filled.